Former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick takes a knee during the national anthem in San Francisco last year. We noticed, but very few players joined him. Not many players seem to care. He can't get a job in the NFL now, and very few have said much about that either.
Oh, we the people have said plenty about that, Dale. We've applauded and voiced how much of a cancer Colin is to any respectable football franchise, but as usual, the mainstream media, which ironically includes you, won't give us a voice on that subject. So yeah, let's kick off your first lie about how we've not said much on the matter.
But the president says he wants that peaceful protest to stop, says those players should be fired if they take a knee during the anthem, and calls those players a name I never thought I'd live long enough to hear a president say, and now everybody cares. Donald Trump has said he supports a peaceful protest because it's an American's right, but not this protest, and there's the problem.
But this protest is unlike any other protest. Do you realize that, Dale? Do you realize this protest was a problem before even the president put his 2 cents in? The problem is not the president's stand against the protest itself, Dale. It's a deeper concern with the American people. But do you even know what that concern is?
Any protest you don't agree with is a protest that should be stopped. Martin Luther King should have marched across a different bridge. Young black Americans should have gone to a different college and found a different lunch counter. And college kids in the 60s had no right to protest an immoral war.
So now we're grouping the likes of suppressed minorities and their historical righteous struggles on par with the likes of protected, elite, pampered NFL players that are given millions of dollars a year to perform an entertainment service. Really, Dale?
I served in the military during the Vietnam War, and my foot hurt too. But I've served anyway.
What the hell? What does your foot hurting have anything to do with? You know what? Two can play at this spewing nonsense game. John McCain was a war vet too, but he's become old and senile. Do the similarities between you and McCain not just end there?
My best friend in high school was killed in Vietnam, and Carol Meyer will be 18 years old forever, and he did not die, so that you can decide who is a patriot and who loves America more.
Actually, yes. Yes, he did die, so Americans can decide who is a patriot and who loves America more. It's called our freedom of speech, as protected by the First Amendment, Dale.
The young black athletes are not disrespecting America or the military by taking a knee during the anthem.
Well, not according to you, Dale. And that is, after all, your American right to feel that way. But apparently someone nominated you to speak on behalf of the millions of Americans it does offend on behalf of the anthem in the military. But their voice doesn't matter because you say so.
They are respecting the best thing about America. It's a dog whistle to the racist among us to say otherwise.
You race-baiting, race-dividing old man, did you really just claim that if we have a difference of opinion, we're just flat-out racist? What the hell is wrong with you?
They and all of us should protest how black Americans are treated in this country.
Kudos, Dale Hansen. Finally, the first real thing that you've said that we both can agree with. Yes, they should be allowed to protest in this country. But as predicted, you're still missing the point of not what, but when.
And if you don't think white privilege is a fact, you don't understand America.
And there you go off the deep end again. Was white privilege an issue in our history? Yes. Does it still exist today? Yes. Is it as prevalent now as it was at any time in our past? No. And if you believe that, Dale, then you might as well admit that you've been granted the career you have simply because you stole it from a black man, all the while painting this broad brush that all white people are privileged. Oh, and while we're at it, try saying this with a straight face to the white people living on low-income housing, standing in the unemployment line. Do that, Dale.
The comedian Chris Rock says it best. There's not a white man in America who would trade places with him, and he's rich.
Chris Rock is a comedian. Did you know that, Dale? That statement alone gets so many laughs. But have you asked any white man yourself if they wouldn't want to be in Chris Rock's shoes, have his bank account, or other endowed member benefits that come with it? Try it, Dale.
It has not gone unnoticed that Trump has spoken out against the Mexicans who want to come to America for a better life.
Illegal Mexicans, Dale. There's a difference.
Against the Muslims.
Muslim extremists, Dale. Another huge difference.
And now against the black athlete. But he says nothing for days about the white men who marched under a Nazi flag in Charlottesville.
Nothing for days, huh, Dale? Oh, because having a President Trump that flies off the handle and immediately speaks without assessing the situation is just the sort of president we've been lacking, huh? And besides, that Antifa flag flown in Charlottesville is just another Nazi-style flag, in case you didn't know.
Except to remind us there were good people there.
Hello, Dale. There were good people there. A lot of good, innocent people that got caught up in the crossfire and targeted by the Antifa crowd. But that's lost on you now, isn't it?
And when he finally tried to say the right thing, not one of them was called an SOB or should be fired.
Are you even listening to yourself anymore? Fired? Yeah, you rioting SOBs should all be fired from, rioting.
We have white men in America who wave the Nazi flag and the Confederate flag.
And as long as they're not disrupting another public activity, it seems they're enjoying an American freedom, but they will suffer the consequences of their actions.
And he's concerned about taking a knee because it disrespects this flag. We use that flag to sell mattresses and beer. We wear it as a swimsuit. We wrap our bald heads in a flag bandana and stick it in our pants because we disrespect that flag every day.
Wow, Dale, you really can't tell the difference between American flag patterns used for clothing and the flag itself, can you?
Maybe we all need to read the Constitution again. There has never been a better use of pen to paper. Our forefathers made freedom of speech the First Amendment. They listed 10, and not one of them says you have to stand during the anthem.
You were doing so well with the Constitution and forefather talk, Dale, but if you sincerely think we the people are demanding a respectful stand at the anthem based on the first 10 Bill of Rights, you've got problems.
I think those men respected the country they fought for and founded a great deal more than the self-proclaimed patriots who are simply hypocrites because they want to deny the basic freedom of this great country, a country they supposedly value and cherish so much.
And here is your final coup de grace, Dale, assuming 1, we're hypocrites, and 2, that we want to deny the protesting football players any freedoms whatsoever. Wrong, Dale. Time to set you straight. We the people actually agree with what the football players are protesting. We agree that there are injustices in this world against the black and minority community that needs to be brought to light using a televised mainstream voice when the silenced voices just can't be heard. And we agree that protesting an injustice is in fact a basic American freedom and right that should be honored and respected. But now that I've heard your grievances, hear ours. We the people refuse to tolerate a disrespectful employee disobeying their owner's policy or boss's rules. We the people refuse to tolerate a league or business that won't enforce its own policies. And finally, most importantly, we the people simply cannot accept the ill-timed manner in which said protests are happening. You see, there's a thing in our country called tact, civility, grace, and respect. So if this sort of protesting behavior becomes accepted as the norm, then where does the line get drawn? What's to stop a protest from breaking out in the middle of a police officer or soldier's funeral, or even during an officer or soldier's wedding or award ceremony? So what's the solution? As the United States, we should be seeking a united compromise. We should have an NFL that enforces its policies and a complete support of its owners. We should have players that respect their careers as the general public typically does its employers. But we should also have time set aside for the players that feel an injustice needs to be voiced. Whether it's a few moments of silence that occurs before halftime or before the start of the fourth quarter, just make it happen. Make it voluntary and make it its own so that it doesn't detract from other time-honored traditions. But most importantly, just make it available. We the people, the NFL, and its owners support your right to protest NFL players. So let's set aside an appropriate time to do so. And we can all learn and grow from this as a people coming together, not divided apart. God bless America. Maximum effort.